I'm a hang loose Baptist, so I spend a lot of time in nightclubs. So I lift my voice in nightclubs. You know what I mean? So there's a consistency I've always tried to hold on to. But now it spills over into electoral politics. It's like when you decided to run, you the same brother Anthony Parker. Everybody knows brother Anthony Parker. He just telling the same truth he been telling in the barbershop or at your house, in the crib, or in the street, or whatever it is, in the church, whatever your religious sensibility is. You know what I mean? You the same brother. I'm the same brother. But now it's spilling over. And at the presidential level, you see, they're not really used to somebody trying to tell the truth, the painful truth at the presidential level. They're just not.
And so I know you helped or volunteered. You're talking about Bill Bradley, Al Sharpton, Jill Stein, Bernie. There's a couple other people. So I guess in 2004, that's what I was reading, that some people were trying to get you to run for president?
Well, the Green Party had approached me to run for vice president.
Oh, vice president, okay.
It was VP.
Okay.
And I said, oh, no, I got too much work to do. And see, I believe that any political campaign has got to be tied to a movement, my brother. Which is to say, you got to have organized people who are putting pressure on the system as a whole. If a politician gets in there without the accountability needed of a movement, you get incorporated and you get brought in, and you get so easily diluted because the system is powerful. It will just devour you when you get in there. You need pressure from outside. And that's, for me, is important in terms of what it means to be one who's following a calling. I mean, it's the difference between having a cause and having a brand. People ask me, oh, Brother West, oh, Brother Anthony Parker, what's your brand? What's your brand? Hey, we got a cause. A cause is something you live and die for and tell the truth. A brand is a market strategy to help you in your career. See, I'm not into this brand. Everybody needs money and so forth, but no. The God's calling ain't no brand. The people's calling is not no brand. Fighting for poor and working people is not a brand at all. It's a cause that you feel at the deep of your heart. That's like saying that John Coltrane got a brand when he's blowing his horn. He ain't got no brand. He got a cause.
Right. Or Miles Davis. I use Miles.
Absolutely.
He did his own thing. So now, when you decided to run, did you have people, friends-wise, that said, "Hey, I'm supporting you," or people said, "You know what? I don't think you should do it"?
Well, many of my loved ones said that they wasn't crazy about it because there's a good chance you get shot and killed and murdered. That's very real. You got character assassination. We've already had that. People come at you with smears and lies and innuendos, and that's just part of that's what it is to be in politics.
Right.
And
people are gonna
as a black man and as a free man and as somebody who's fundamentally in solidarity with poor and working people, you can get killed on the spot because you constitute a threat to the powers that be.
Right.
Definitely.
And when you're talking to African Americans and non-African Americans, because African Americans, their needs are technically different, than the United States. So when you're running, and I see everything that you talk about. You've always been a deep thinker. Because I kept saying, well, who's your audience? And I'm like, okay, are historically black colleges? Back in the old days, I don't know how they are now, but they were in tune. So when you have an African American running, or even a candidate, but one of the smartest ones running that can talk all issues that you see, they're not there for their own. God put them in that position. You would think, well, you know what? There should be more people out there that's going to vote for this one instead of these two.
I hear you.
So how do you connect with African Americans compared to the whole world? Because the whole world, United States African Americans, they may not care about Ukraine and all this other kind of stuff, or climate change. They may care about, well, what can you do for me in my neighborhood?
Right.
How do
Right.
you that?
Well, one is that, in the last 50 years, though, a vast majority of Black people have become associated with the Democratic Party.
Mhm.
And it's because the Republican Party is just so bad. But that Democratic Party, as it began to move toward big money more and more and more, they use Black people as window dressing, almost like symbols. But when it comes to speaking to the situation of Black poor folk, you can get a mass incarceration system. Of course, Biden was the architect of that in many ways from the Senate and bragged about that for a long time. But mass
Right.
incarceration was a crime against humanity. It was a
Right.
crime against Black people because over 50% were actually just nonviolent drug offenders, ending up in one of the most barbaric spaces imaginable. I've taught in prisons for 41 years. I've seen it with my own eyes. So how in the world could you have a party that's dedicated to the Black community, but you end up incarcerating waves and waves of their poor children, not their middle class children?
Right.
Middle class children are less incarcerated than the poor, but I believe that our poor brothers and sisters have the same value as middle class or well-to-do. You see, I'm a Christian, so everybody got the same value.
Right.
Everybody got the same significance. They made in the image of God, period.
So and I also say, like, going to door when you're getting petitions is kind of an interesting kind of skill. You have
Yes.
to really work, because I may come to your door and it's like, okay, because at one point I would use I'd have a speech and I come to door and my son would say, Dad, stop saying the same thing. Okay. So then somebody opens up the door, I tell them who I am. I may see the wife going up and say, hey, get her, come down.
Yeah.
Because I would tell people it's an honor for somebody to believe in you and write your signature down. But also, all you got to do as a politician, as an actor, as a pastor, is to get inside that person's mind, have them believe that you believe in what they believe, and they will support you. Because we've had the past couple of years, we had Bill Clinton years ago, George Bush, I don't know. We had Barack, okay, and that dream. And then after that, we had Trump.
Right.
And
Right.
I talked to this guy. His name is David Garrow. He's an author, and he helped produce Eyes on the Prize, and did this book about Obama a couple years ago. So recently, he's been making media, and I got a chance to interview him. And so, do you believe that Obama's term, did it hurt or did it help African Americans? Because the guy who was an author who followed Obama, he says the worst thing that could have happened pretty much was Obama becoming president. Because after he got out of it, he kind of like just, said, I'm not there anymore for anybody.
Yeah, no, David Garrow is my dear brother. I've known him for 40 years. As you know, he's written the best biography of Martin Luther King Jr.
Yes.
Bearing the Cross.
Yes.
Bearing the Cross sets a high standard, but that is my standard. That's my tradition, brother.
Mm-hmm.
The King legacy is my tradition. I'll always fall short, but I'll know what the standards are. So when you compare Rising Star, you compare his book on Barack, or the Rising Star, his book on Barack Obama, the Rising Star, with the book on King, you can see how far Obama falls short.
Right.
And we understand he would, but he did fall short, because once you bail out Wall Street, but you don't bail out everyday people, Black businesses lose 41% of their monies. The middle class lose 58% of their houses, or 58% of the middle class lose their houses. And then at the same time, when you continue military expenditures, extending it more and more, you got 6 wars going on at the same time. You dropping drones on people, sometimes innocent people. Those are crimes against humanity too.
Right.
So you figure, well, what would Martin say, Bearing the Cross, the first book of David Garrow, with his big book? And both books are about 1,000 pages.
1,000 pages, right.
I've read both of them very closely, because I know Brother Garrow. I've known him for 40 years. That He's absolutely right. You see, we've got to keep our standards up, brother, no matter what.
How do you do that though? You know, because I mean, I've had people say too that you know, when you get in office, you change. I've had some friends that have gotten in office and have changed. I would say Nina, because when we used to do a show together,
Yeah,
and this was locally, and we talk about the mayor and all this other kind of stuff. And when we finished our show, you know, she got into politics, and I'm proud of her because I mean, she's gotten as hard and has grown and has been her own.
yes.
That I'm like, wow. I mean, I am amazed and impressed.
She's got integrity. She's got vision, but she also in process of changing too. All of us are in process of changing. There's no doubt about that. Very much so. But the crucial thing is that you remain humble enough to grow and strong enough to take a stand. If you don't have backbone, then you're going to cave in, sell out, and give up anyway.
Right.
You got to have a backbone to take a stand. But just because you take a stand doesn't mean you're not still listening to others as they grow.
Right.
I mean, you mentioned Miles Davis. You go from Kind of Blue to Bitches Brew.
Right.
Is that the same musician? Yes, it is. You wouldn't know it if you're just listening to the record.
Right. He just kept evolving.
Because he kept growing. He was listening. He wanted to play with Sly Stone. He wanted to play with Jimi Hendrix. He already got Charlie Parker in the background. He knows Roy Eldridge. He knows Clark Terry, and he knows the greatest of them all, Louis Armstrong.
Oh yeah, okay. Going way back.
That's Miles. And he always understood that tradition, going forward and going back.
So is the country going back then? If Biden gets in, is it going to be World War III or possibility?
Well, you know, with Trump, you got possible civil war, it'd be the second one. With Biden, you got a possible world war, it'd be the third one. So that's why the choice between both of these folk is just so narrow. We've got to get beyond the choice of World War III and Civil War II.
And are you one that you can sit down with other leaders and try, you know, Trump says if he, you know, goes to Ukraine, he can stop the war in a couple of days. If you were in, would you be able to do that? Not realistically, you know, a couple of days, but what would you do different?
I think that I would be able to sit down with leaders much easier than either Trump or Biden, because the leaders I would sit down with would not only be from Ukraine and Russia and China, but it would also be from South Africa. It would also be from Brazil, Brother Lula, because this is a matter of the world. Same is true with climate change, as you know, an ecological catastrophe. You have to be able to relate to people around the world and relate to them honestly. They understand who you are, you understand who they are, but you recognize that you have a vision that brings people together. The problem of the United States is we view ourselves as an empire, and everybody else has to cater to us.
Right.
We dictate to them. You say, no, this is jazz. Like we want to be a decent, dignified nation among nations.
And kind of jazz, like, you know, how you do it, improvisation. You got the trumpet player. Hey, man, we need a drummer. It's China. Come over here. You drum.
That's right. You on the horn. That's right. You on the piano. No, that's exactly right. Now, my wife was just waving at me here, though, brother. I think I should hand it on over to her. Okay,
so we're gonna have both of you, and I'm gonna take. I'm gonna go for a break for a second while she comes in, and I'm honored to have on the show Dr. Cornel West. And coming up will be, and I don't know how often your wife does this. Okay.
Well, she's the best of the things, so she's
where she's with you, but I want to do something a little bit different so we can get a better side too of Dr. West.
All right.
We'll be right back after this. And welcome back again. Yours truly, Anthony Parker of Keeping It Honest, right here. Questions, comments, you can leave me an email, parkerman2011 at gmail.com, parkerman2011 at gmail.com. You can text me 216-702-3718, 216-702-3718. I am blessed to have Dr. Cornel West and his wife on the show. And like I say, we try to do things with a Parker twist. So welcome back. And give us the correct pronunciation of your name again.
Annahita.
All righty. And you know what? So how did you two meet?
We met when he came to the college that I teach as a speaker.
Okay. And you guys have known each other for a couple years?
Since 2016.
Okay. And I like what she said. Well, it's one of my favorite pictures right here. If you can see that.
Oh, he did his.
Oh, wow. That's the picture in Harlem, huh?
Okay. I like that. That's a good picture.
110th Street. We live on 110th Street.
Okay.
That's beautiful. And you see Frederick Douglass when he was a young man in the background.
Okay. That's a great picture. So I like getting inside of people who are married, the support and everything. So as your husband goes on this journey, how do you feel?
Different feelings. I can't just say what feeling, but I'm proud of him. I feel anxious at times. I feel very hopeful at times. I feel scared at times. But we always do our best to bring joy to whatever we do. So we feel a lot of joy as well.
And you said you feel scared at times?
Yeah.
Okay. As far as its safety or?
Yeah. Safety.
Okay. And again, so are you all in? Has there been a time, especially, I don't know, the last couple of weeks or months or whatever, where you said, hey, honey, maybe you should rethink this?
I don't say that anymore. That was a conversation for a couple of weeks before he announced. I was trying to see if we can rethink it.
Okay. And I was online, and so I was reading about, I guess, the love that you have for each other. So I'm going to read this for you, okay? And it says, let me make sure I get this right. For the past 3 decades of my life, I've called him my hero. Now I get to call him my hero husband until death do us part. You remember that?
Yes, that was when we got married.
And this comment right here that she said, love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always preserves. Love never fails, but when there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be still. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away.
That's not me, that's the Bible.
Okay, but I love how you got that in there. And so when you guys decided to get married, so there were people that didn't want you guys together?
There were people that didn't want us together?
Yeah.
Not that I know.
Not that I know of.
Okay.
Where we don't know them.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And so what do you guys do for fun?
Oh, we do a lot of stuff for fun. We like to go out and eat. We like to watch TV, mostly music videos and documentaries and some good movies. We walk. We laugh together. We dance and sing.
So at the end of the day, when you're doing these interviews, Dr. West, and people are sometimes coming at you, does it feel good to just go home?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
have a wonderful meal and watch James Brown on YouTube,
Okay. So tell me something that people would be surprised, and this is Dr. West, because I don't know if I have both of you two, but now let's both of you two also. So what do you do that will surprise people?
Doctor, my husband.
Yeah.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, you're
That's
asking
for
me?
you, babe.
You know what does my husband do that would surprise people?
Yeah.
He's really funny.
Mm.
He's very. I mean, he's an actor too, but he had a very successful career in acting as well, and he has been in many movies. But he's very funny. He's yeah, he's really funny. People see that side a little, but I see it. I see his stand-ups.
And then how do you two complement each other?
Complement each other. In many ways, we complement each other. And one thing about Cornell that is amazing is how he has a very strong faith,
Mm.
and everything for him is based on his faith. Even this presidential candidacy, he believes it's part of. He has a strong faith that it is part of his calling, his mission, and movement. And so a lot of times, if I'm anxious about something and his words calms me down because he doesn't I've never seen him anxious. He doesn't believe, he doesn't have anxieties. He believes and he has the strongest faith I've seen. And so I think that's one of the things that we complement each other. Is that?
Oh, no, I think that's true. I think that there is a fascinating sense in which my beloved wife has affinities to Malcolm X.
Okay.
I have them to Martin Luther King Jr., even though she loves Martin and I love Malcolm.
That's interesting. Okay.
We have fascinating discussions about that.
I was going to say, yeah, do you guys ever discuss those two?
Oh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
I am by all means, ways necessary. By all means necessary.
Okay, right.
And,
Okay.
and Cornell is more peaceful in that regard than I am.
And so with all the running around that you're doing, and since you announced your run for president, have there been any media channels that were before you could come on that they don't invite you? Or?
No, not really. Not yet.
Not yet. As you keep on. And do you sometimes when you guys are together, do you think, wow, I can't believe that I'm running for president? When you're at home, just you two chilling, nothing going on, and then does it kind of hit you like, wow, it's amazing?
I don't think it's the case for Cornel, but it is a case for me. And the wow it's got a lot of definitions, but I think about it every now and then. But as far as the media goes, they've been very welcoming and kind towards him so far. We'll see what happens.
Okay. And so as of today, you are not going to drop out of the race. You're going to stay to the end, right?
That's right.
Because there's been discussions about that. And a lot of people, not a lot of people, but, I've heard it on different streams where people talk. But I wanted to make it clear that you're going to be there. So what kind of support are you looking for from the people?
For them to make a choice and feel as if they think that this alternative is better than the other two.
Mm-hmm. And has there been anything that you wanted to discuss that you weren't able to discuss, or?
No. I'm going to lift my voice as we were talking before with the Negro National Anthem, brother.
Right.
I'm going to be true to that. I'm going to lift my voice to every issue, and especially every issue that impacts poor and working people, Black people, brown people, white people, indigenous people, disabled people, elderly people, and so on.
And then real quick, couple of quick questions. You were and how did you get into the matrix? And you were Counselor West?
Yeah. Yeah,
How,
no.
how far is that from
I don't
Cornel?
know where that comes from. Wachowskis just called me up and wanted me to be in the movie. They said that my writings have been influential in Matrix 1. So
Okay,
they wrote a role for Matrix 2 and 3.
okay.
And we had a good time.
And then you have an upcoming album with your brother?
Well, we did 3 albums together. We did Sketches
Okay.
of My Coaches, Street Knowledge, and then Never Forget with Prince and Gerald Levert, Ohio,
Oh,
Cleveland,
yeah,
too.
there you go. OJ's.
Oh, yeah, but that's the son we talking about, of course. That's Eddie Levert, the
Okay.
OJ. But
And,
his towering son, Gerald, was on the album with Lenny Williams and Talib Kweli, Jill Scott, and so many others.
and then do you have a lot of albums then? Or do you get CDs or albums? Because you get that crisp sound with the albums.
I never. We got a record player here with the with the vinyls.
Yeah.
We were just with Sister Kim and Brother Lewis, who have a beautiful collection of albums.
Okay.
They actually gave us an album. Was that for our anniversary?
It was for your birthday.
Was for my
70.
birthday? Yes, for my birthday.
Okay.
Yeah.
And happy belated anniversary for you guys. It's a couple of years now, right?
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah.
At the end of August.
Because I think you were camping or you were on some show on your birthday, I think. I think it was Savvy's show.
Is that right? See, I don't even recall.
It was on the anniversary. You were on a couple of shows, and people you said in a show that it's our anniversary.
Oh.
But he also had a birthday in June. He turned
Okay,
70.
okay. Happy belated birthday too. So now, what do you want to tell people as far as your run and supporting you?
Well, just be open to what we have to say. Think deeply and honestly about the way you want this country and world to go. And I hope it has something to do with love and justice rather than hatred and revenge. And I hope we have a sensitivity to poor and working people. If folk who themselves are poor and working, they got a different alternative than the duopoly tied to big money.
And even if you wasn't running for president, you were somebody I've always wanted to interview. I tell you how God works. And when your wife responded to me, just like that, pretty much, I was so honored and I've had an interesting day. And I said, when you're doing things, I've been planning for this for a couple of weeks since we talked. And I kept telling my family, look, I got to get focused. Okay. So I got Dr. West on the show. I wanted to interview him for years. Never thought I would. And then she responds. And so it's weird. Up to leading to this, I've had as much crazy stuff happen as could possibly. So like I said before, when you're doing things and God has destined you in that.
That's right.
You sit back, you go for that ride. And if the things are hitting you, then you know you're doing the right thing. That's kind of what you have to, and that has no matter what religion you are, just have faith that no matter how hard a thing is, if you've got 1% of achieving that, then your odds are still good. So when you're running and people are trying to tell you, are you a spoiler? People don't want you in there. That means you got more power than you know that you have.
But I tell you this, my brother, you've done a marvelous job. It's been a joy to be in conversation with you, and God bless you and your precious family. There's no doubt about it. But no, you're right, though, mother. That's the kind of God we serve in terms of being willing to follow your calling and hold on to your integrity and honesty and decency as you are in service to the people and in service to the God that called you.
And I'm hoping to have you on again as the race continues.
As we can continue. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. As we get further on down the line.
And a lot of people think, okay, well, because we still got a year and a half almost, something like that. And the progress and getting you out there. So if people want to get more involved and learn about the Green Party, what do they do?
You tell them the tag. The Cornel West office.
Oh, I see. You're asking me. I thought that. Yeah, so if people want to get in touch, they go to the campaign website, cornelwest24.org. And there are tabs there. People can send media requests. They can send emails. I think that's how you reached out to me. There is a shop. There is, they just have to go to the website.
Okay. And I would like to thank you guys again for being on the show. And after we end this, I'll talk to you real quick. But we've had on the show Dr. Cornel West and his wife. There's two Dr. West over here. If you were Dr. East, that would be East and West. But I thank you for being on my show. I hope you've enjoyed it. Go to the website. Support him. Okay, support what he believes in. Like I said, we don't just have to have two choices that we don't like. Okay, we can have that pen. And it's a pen he loves writing, so this is Dr. West right here. If you don't know, think about it. Okay, don't just not vote. Vote for somebody that's there for you. Because if you let this election just go by the wayside again, who knows what's going to happen in this world? So something to think about. I'm Anthony Parker, 216-702-3718, 216-702-3718, parkerman2011 at gmail.com, parkerman2011 at gmail.com. I thank everybody for supporting the show. I thank both of the West for being on my show. I'm Anthony Parker. Keep your head up, never look down, always believe in yourself, and therein will lie your answer.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so very, very much, my brother.